If one were to be invited to visit the Franciscan sanctuary of St. John of the Desert without knowing its particular character, one would surely expect to see expanses of sandy terrain. Yet here is the unexpected, a haven of lush greenery. It is a scene that characterizes the village of Ein Karim, held to be the celebrated town in the hill country of Judea, and therefore perhaps the place where John, who would become the Baptist, was born, and where we may imagine that he spent his childhood. Nevertheless, it is a place where one may know those areas of withdrawal, be they deserts or oases, where God may more easily speak to the heart. At the same time, Friar Frederick Mance makes it clear that the saint who is venerated here knew the kind of barren surroundings that the pilgrim might have been expecting.
Tutti I grandi profeti sono stati nel deserto, a cominciare da Mosè, da Elia.
John was brought up in the desert. All the great prophets experienced the desert, beginning with Moses and Elijah, and John was the new Elijah. He had to spend time in the desert, just as the children of Israel did, for 40 years. For while water purifies the body, the desert purifies the soul.
Situated not far from Jerusalem, the site was bought by the Franciscan custody of the Holy Land from the Latin Patriarchate in 1911, and a new church and convent, designed by the celebrated architect Antonio Barluzzi, were inaugurated in 1922. Here pilgrims were able to recall the words of the prophet Isaiah. A voice cries, "Prepare in the desert a way for the Lord, make a straight highway for our God across the wastelands." In fact, the Friary of St. John of the Desert is not far from that desert, where only one's own footsteps break the silence, and where one cannot but be introspective in the best sense of the term. Perhaps one may think of the Simon and Garfunkel song, The Sounds of Silence. Better to remember that Elijah did not find God in an earthquake, wind or fire, but in the still, small voice which one can hear only in solitude. For here, in the desert, the pilgrim, like John, can truly be alone with God.